First, we heard from him.
But I said, listen, your texting is driving me a little nuts.
Now we hear from her, the woman being sued over a bad date.
I left and I didn't come back.
Imagine holding your own heart.
It's hard to describe.
Transplant patients go back to say goodbye to their broken hearts.
Zika popping up in Texas. State leaders fighting for funds to prevent a potential outbreak.
And meet Thompson.
His smile is infectious.
The dog searching for his forever home since the Memorial Day floods 2 years ago. KVUE News Nightbeat starts right now.
Those stories in a moment, but first it is the weather pattern crossing North Texas to Kansas that has our eye tonight. Nearly 300 severe weather reports, at least 16 tornadoes touching down, bringing baseball-sized hail.
And we want to show you this right now, a time-lapse video from around 4:30 this evening as the tornadoes formed. You can see the multiple lightning strikes and the rain pouring down. Forecasters predict severe thunderstorms and tornado watches for at least the next 2 hours in those areas. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Coita Culpepper.
And I'm Mike Rush. We're joined by Albert Ramon to break it all down. A lot of activity, as we just mentioned, up north, but we're really not seeing much in our area just yet.
Right. Just on the tail end of the system. That's why we haven't seen a whole lot on Doppler radar. You go just north of our area, though. It's been pretty busy tonight. Let me show you a max storm Doppler radar, and it's been quiet across our viewing area, but you don't have to go far north of Lampasas, north of San Saba, to see this supercell thunderstorm that has dropped over 8 inches of rainfall between Brownwood and Comanche now, and at times baseball-sized hail. At least 3 tornadoes reported with this system, and a tornado warning does remain in effect if you are in Lampasas or San Saba County. Something to keep an eye on, not an immediate threat, but something to keep an eye on over the next hour or two. The bulk of severe weather, as Mike and Quita were saying, has been in the southern and central plains, Kansas and Oklahoma getting hit hard, and the severe weather continues here this evening. Patchy rain for us here in Austin overnight. Thunderstorm chance small tomorrow, mainly west of Austin. Saturday, though, that's when we're going to get some nice measurable rainfall across the area. We're going to talk about all the systems headed this direction in your full forecast coming up.
Thanks, Albert. A wet spring has led many homeowners to start preparing for mosquito season, and with it, the threat of the Zika virus.
U.S. Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz are among those thinking ahead and pressing the CDC for funding to prevent a Texas outbreak. The Nightbeat's Tina Shively has more on their urgent request.
What we try to do is get material on the underside of the leaves, the bushes.
As many as 200 mosquitoes could be resting in an average Austin yard. And what they could be carrying is causing concern in Central Texas.
Our business, just specific for mosquito, has been increasing by 30–40% every year.
Brian Kelly from ABC Home and Commercial Services says their company is not alone.
And our industry as a whole around the country is picked up.
In the last 5 years, about half of Kelly's customers who inquire about mosquito spraying cite health concerns. They include pesky bites and a more serious scenario, the Zika virus. For many, it causes a mild rash, but Zika passed from a pregnant woman to her fetus can cause certain birth defects. There is no vaccine. Since January of 2016, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report 322 cases of Zika in Texas. 18 were in Travis, 5 in Williamson, and 1 was recorded in Hays County. These numbers have prompted Senators John Cornyn and Ted Cruz to take action. In a letter just sent to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they posed several questions about $144 million so far unspent federal dollars specifically allocated for Zika prevention. They want to know just how much will be used in Texas and how quickly it will arrive for the, quote, critical public health priority. Locally, Kelly says his team is ready to do its part.
We have to gear up for it when the season hits. All companies have to gear up for that time of year.
In Austin, Tina Shively, KVUE News, Nightbeat.
And breaking news out of San Antonio right now, nearly 50 fire crews are responding to a fire that broke out at the Ingram Square Mall. Take a look at that. This is on the city's northwest side. Right now, there have been no injuries reported, and we will continue to follow this story and have the latest on air and online.
It was like a bowling, hitting people.
Tonight, we now know the deadly car crash in Times Square that killed one person was not terrorism. Officers say 26-year-old Richard Rojas took a wrong turn in Times Square, jumped a curb, killing an 18-year-old woman and injuring 22 other people. Police say Rojas tested positive for PCP. He has also been arrested in the past for drunk driving. Those injured are expected to be okay.
A 22-year-old man who helped coach a Round Rock debate team is in jail tonight. Tyrell Van Winkle is accused of having inappropriate relationships with 3 female students at Stony Point High School, where he worked as an assistant debate coach. Round Rock police say one student admitted to having a sexual relationship with Van Winkle and sent him nude photos. Officers found the photos on his phone and pictures of another underage student. If convicted, he could receive up to 10 years in prison for each child pornography charge and up to 20 years for sexual assault of a minor. And now turning to a story that's gained a lot of national attention. We're talking about the man who sued his date for texting during a movie.
Brandon Jones first spoke with a man earlier this week, and tonight you got a chance to speak with a woman at the center of this lawsuit. See what she has to say.
Yeah, I did. You know, Mike and Quita, this woman, Crystal Cruz, says that this situation has been blown out of proportion. She also told us tonight that it's not uncommon for her to text her friend during a date just to let her know that she's safe. She is looking forward to the day that she can put all of this behind her.
The past 24 hours has been life-changing for 35-year-old Crystal Cruz.
I've cried, I've laughed, I've been mad.
Cruz is being sued for $17.31. Why? Well, this man, 37-year-old Brandon Vesmar, says she ruined their date and his movie-going experience.
This is insane. I just couldn't even believe it.
Vesmar spoke to us Tuesday, and now Cruz wants to share her side of the story. She says he exaggerated about how much she was texting during the movie. Cruz says she only sent 3 text messages to her friend and tried to be discreet by holding her phone close to her. That's when she says things escalated and Vesmar asked her to stop.
I leaned back over to him and I said, well, I'm just going to go.
But things didn't stop there. Cruz says Vesmar went to great lengths to find her on social media.
He messaged everyone on my Facebook with the last name of Cruz. He messaged them to look for me.
Then a lawsuit was filed.
Let me move on with my life. I'll do whatever it takes.
And Cruz did just that.
I will love to give you your $17.31.
The two met for the first time since the date Thursday on national television. Vesmar has agreed to drop the lawsuit, and Cruz, well, she says she learned to be more careful dating.
So again tonight, Vesmar has agreed to drop that lawsuit. He also told me that he wants the country to move on to more important things. He says his work here is done. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's not going to be a second date for that one.
I hope not. Well, coming up, he was rescued 2 years ago from the Memorial Day floods.
But tonight, Thompson, the lovable American bulldog, sits in a local animal shelter. How the people caring for him are trying to find him a home.
And later, it's a reunion you don't hear about often. Transplant patients holding their hearts in their hands. How one institution is making that possible.
Unbelievable how warm it is here after 10 o'clock. Still 80 degrees here in Austin. Dew point at 69 degrees. Highs today above average in the 90s. A couple of thunderstorms possible in the hill country tomorrow. Overall, best chance of rain comes Saturday. Let's talk about that in your full forecast next.
We continue to follow this breaking news out of San Antonio. Take a look at this massive fire. Nearly 50 fire crews battling the fire at the Ingram Square Mall. That's on the city's northwest side. No injuries reported at this time. We'll continue to follow this right here on the Nightbeat and also KVUE.com. We are coming up on the 2-year anniversary of the Memorial Day floods that ripped through central Texas.
And with that, a local animal shelter is trying to find a home for the last dog taken in from the storms. New at 10, KVUE's Michael Perchik met Thompson, who may be the world's happiest dog.
You know, as reporters, we do a lot of stories with dogs, but I have to say, I've never met a dog who smiles more than Thompson. And considering the circumstances of his situation, it's all the more amazing.
Day after day, walk after walk, sip after sip. This is where Thompson resides, but it's certainly no home.
Came in as a really hard luck story.
Rhonda McClendon heads up the Pflugerville Animal Shelter, where Thompson has lived since the 2015 Memorial Day floods.
A lady found him caught in some fencing and debris, and it tore him up a little bit.
But while it's a hard luck story, there's something different about Thompson.
His smile is infectious, and that's one of the things I really love about him.
That smile. It begets a pooch who doesn't know anything better, but certainly deserves it.
They think, oh, he's just too big and he's scary.
So for an 80-pound, cross-eyed American bulldog with skin rashes, first impressions can be tough.
And that's really not the way he is.
Now they're hoping for a family who focuses on his personality over his proportions.
He deserves a good home because he will spread the love around. He's a big dog and he's got enough love for everybody.
A home they hope is around the corner, because every dog deserves their day.
This is your time to shine.
In Pflugerville, I'm Michael Perchik, KVUE News Nightbeat.
Now, it's been a wild day of weather for our friends in Kansas and Oklahoma, even portions of North Texas, but radar has been dry here in Central Texas. These thunderstorms popping up along this dry line. This boundary will still be in play tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So the best chance of thunderstorms, at least in our area, will be west of Austin. And overall, the greatest risk of severe weather for tomorrow, North Texas into Oklahoma. Once again, notice a front behind this dry line. That's the front that arrives this weekend, and that's overall going to give us a better chance of rain area-wide. Now, tomorrow morning, a couple of patchy areas of rain in the forecast. By the afternoon, notice radar trying to show a thunderstorm out west in the hill country by about 6 o'clock, but the future radar is keeping us mainly dry here in Austin. We'll keep the rain chance pretty small tomorrow afternoon, but nonetheless keep an eye on it. Here's Saturday morning. As that front gets a little bit closer to us, the activity becomes a little bit more widespread, and a few heavy downpours will be possible. So the best chance for an isolated thunderstorm for Friday in the afternoon will be back off towards the west of Austin. Showers likely as a front moves into the area on Saturday, and then more scattered activity as we head into Sunday and Monday of next week. If we add up all these rainfall totals, the bulk of which will fall this weekend, 4-day rainfall totals could average between about 1 and 2 inches. Here's a check of the allergy forecast for tomorrow. Grass pollen in the low count, molds in the high count. Your allergy forecast found every day in the Statesman. Brenda Brumbello sending this photo in from Pflugerville. Ominous looking clouds, but what a cool floaty, right, with that flamingo? We'd love to see your photos, even if they're fun. Snapshot at KVUE.com. So tonight, some patchy rain possible. We'll only drop to 73 degrees. Some patchy rain in the morning for the commute, but nothing that heavy. Best chance of a thunderstorm tomorrow. Notice the chance, it's not that big. 30% will be west of Austin. Numerous showers and even a few rumbles of thunder on Saturday. Severe weather threats to lows Saturday, so that's good news. More scattered activity Sunday into Monday, and then we'll start to lower those rain chances Tuesday, a high at 84, and then we'll start to dry out a bit Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Back with sports a little bit later on. KVUE News Nightbeat continues after this.
Well, the human heart is amazing and mythical. When we describe our loved ones, we often say, they're close to my heart. When we want to draw love, we draw a heart. When someone we love hurts us, we say we have a broken heart. Well, right here in Texas, there's a place for all our broken hearts. Not the mythical one, the real one, beating inside your chest. Now, we do want to warn you, the video in this story can be graphic, and it may not be for the faint of heart. Close your eyes. Concentrate. And you'll hear the reassuring rhythm of life.
It's just comforting. It's not racing. It's not doing irregular things as my old heart had done.
46-year-old Ernest Jotham has had a long history of heart problems. In 1995, he was living his dream, playing football at TCU, until the day he couldn't breathe.
They had done an EKG and noticed I had an irregular heartbeat, and at that point then they did an x-ray, and my heart was extremely large.
It never got better. Ernest needed a new heart, so the high school tennis coach and father of two underwent a heart transplant. Now, he spends his days doing a unique kind of cardiac rehab called industrial athlete, working his way back to health.
And I go through cardiac rehabilitation, and I'm still getting used to it because it performs differently than my native heart.
As he grows stronger, his curiosity about his old heart was growing as well. So he went back to the Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas.
to say goodbye to his old, broken heart.
There was one young man who broke down when he saw his heart.
Dr. William Roberts is in charge of the medical center's Heart to Heart program. It's here where they let transplant patients visit and spend time looking at and even holding their old heart.
Everybody's basically curious.
Inside his lab's cabinets are dozens of human hearts, once full of life, now gray and yellow, sitting in formaldehyde. Hundreds more are in a large storage facility at the medical center.
This is the right ventricle here.
This all started back in 2014. So far, more than 70 people and their broken hearts have been reunited.
They bring their spouses, they bring their kids. We've had 15 people in here looking at Daddy's heart.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to look inside your heart.
Now, most institutions do not keep patients' hearts. They're cut, sections are made, and then they're discarded.
But there's a method to Dr. Roberts' heartfelt efforts to teach transplant patients.
I'm a student of heart disease.
When a transplant patient sees their former heart, they also see how their lifestyle choices and eating habits may have helped break it.
Most of us who have problems with our cholesterol levels is the result of what we put in our mouth 21 times a week.
More than 50% of the hearts Dr. Roberts sees are encased in a thick layer of fat.
If you have too much fat, the heart will float in a container of water or formaldehyde.
And so this is another photograph of my heart, and so all this yellow is fat.
For Ernest, it's the moment of truth.
Do you want to see your heart?
Yes, please, sir. Yes, sir.
Why?
I'd like to know why it failed. What was it genetic? What caused it to stop working properly?
Dr. Roberts says there are about 6 million Americans out there right now living with a broken heart in their chest. But less than 1%, only about 2,200, will receive a new heart each year. Many conditions can prompt a heart transplant.
The most common are blockages, and second, idiopathic dilated cardiomyopathy. Idiopathic means we don't know what caused it.
For Ernest, the cause wasn't easy to establish. Doctors only know his heart had to go.
See that cavity? It should get that blood out of there, about 70% of it. And yours gets 10%, 15% now.
Wow.
The smooth outside, the damaged inside. Dr. Roberts and Ernest go over each chamber, every crevice of this broken heart.
There are no scars, there are no portions of the muscle that are dead, but it just doesn't work.
Then, the most unusual of moments. Ernest holds his heart.
I don't know. It's very, I don't know. It's hard to describe as far as words. You know, it is unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's a moment Dr. Roberts hopes will change how people take care of themselves and their new heart.
If you get one of these new hearts, you got to change your life, buddy. You've got a responsibility now.
And Ernest says he's truly taking this opportunity for a new life to heart.
To close one chapter and to begin a new one. It's a whole new journey. It's a whole new world.
The Heart to Heart program is the only one of its kind in the country, quite possibly the world, that allows transplant patients to actually hold and examine their old hearts. In fact, we're told some stop by and visit their hearts whenever they're in Dallas. As for Ernest, he's still recovering both physically and emotionally. A heart transplant can cost as much as $1 million, not to mention the time spent off work. So his friends started a GoFundMe page to help him and his daughters with expenses. You'll find it in this story on our website, KVUE.com. Now let's send it over to Mike Barnes with sports.
Thanks, Quita. Shaka Smart now has his own version of the Fab Five, while UT softball gets ready to take on a couple of in-state rivals. when KVUE returns.